Wait, so
Okay.
as a nigga like you, like I'm Big Sean, like you have number one songs. Like, do you listen to your own music?
Yeah, for sure. Especially while I'm making it, I listen to it.
But
Like,
like after you're done making it, you come out with the album. Your
yeah.
shit's number one for however long. Like, are you in the car bumping that shit? Like, or are you like, I see, like, you know what I mean?
Not
Like for
really.
me,
Nah,
like for
I
me
don't
as
be
an
bumping.
athlete, like I don't really like watching my highlights. Like it's shit weird to me. I like I feel like I could
Yeah.
be better. Like it was. I don't like watching my highlights. Like
Yeah,
as an
that's how a
artist,
lot of people are. That's how Denzel is. That's how like Jay-Z is too. Like I heard like even when I spend time with Hove, he don't like just hearing his shit like in the function like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a
right?
lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that are like that. I could go either way, you know what I mean? But like yeah, I don't just be riding around to my shit like that. I have though. There have been times where it's like I wanted to listen to it and made a point to just vibe out as a listener. And yeah, that is a way to figure out like, oh, I could have maybe done this different or next
Right.
time, you know. But every song as an artist, every song is different. You know, every just like every game is different. Every
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
never just like a factory type of thing when you're being creative. And you know, everything we do is creative. That's one of the things I talk about in my book. Like even if you're a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a flight attendant, any job has a level of creativity to it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's never just straight black and white. Yeah. Even if it's at a factory. And I feel like that's how you just excel is to just be creative, you know, and like treat everything like it has its own life. You know, every song I make, it got its own life to it. And I always like keep in mind like what can I do to help bring this to life? What can I do to help bring this beat to life, this idea to life? This concept to life, this rollout to life, this music video, whatever it is, this performance, this appearance, like what can I do to like bring life to it, you know?
Yeah. So when you come up with an album, like you're in the studio making songs for however long it takes. How long does it
Mhm.
take to make an album typically? Like months?
Man, it just depends, bro, because like there have been times where I made an album, like my first album, that took like a whole damn near lifetime to make, but like I was making like mixtapes and shit before it. But then I came out with an album the next year, you know, my mixtape Detroit, and that took like 9 months to make, or like,
Damn.
and then I also made an album while I was making that. So like sometimes it'll take like 6 months, sometimes it'll take. Then I did an album with Metro one time where I just freestyled the whole album. Like we just was in sessions, and he would be like, "Bro, whatever you think." Like he wanted me to record like how Future record. That's not how I used to like take time writing my shit. And he was like, "No, whatever come to your first mind, you get on the mic, you say that shit, and we moving on. Like we ain't punching that shit, we ain't going back. Like
Right.
I want you to try it like that." And as I'm an artist, that I like to listen to my producers. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. And I remember when that album came out, to me, it's like I loved it because it was pushing me creatively. And a lot of people were like, oh, it don't sound the same, like this and that. Like, you know, it could have been better, but it's just like art is subjective to me. So it's like anything could always be better. Like I was just vibing out. Like I had put out a number one album that year already. I put out my album I Decided and did that album the same year. So it's like I was maxing out my just creativity. You know, I was touring too. So that is actually around the time when I had to like start taking Adderall, which I don't take no more because I wasn't prescribed it, but I feel like that really burnt me out. Like doing them type of like drugs and like trying to function, because that like, you know, it gave me a false, it created like the dopamine in my brain. It was like the false dopamine instead of the dopamine you naturally create. So like,
Hmm.
even though I was like more and like had the energy and the ideas, once I started like realizing that I felt like I couldn't be productive in the studio anymore without it. That's when I knew I had an issue and I had to go cold turkey. And like, that was like when I dealt with like a lot of depression. I dealt with like suicidal thoughts. I dealt with like not being able to be creative, but it also inspired me to like go on my workout journey, right? To like focus on my body to heal myself because I was looking malnourished. I was like 120 pounds type shit. Like I ended up putting on like 30 pounds of muscle. You know what
Damn.
I'm saying? I ended up like really going deeper on my spiritual journey, like increasing my meditations and putting myself as a priority. Because before that, I was always just like, man, you got to work, you got to work, you got to stay consistent, you got to stay on their necks. And that's the mentality that you get coming from a city like Detroit, where people don't have a lot. And like once you get it, you scared to lose it. But that was like a fear-based way of like looking at it. And I'm not saying it didn't work. Like I ended up getting like a lot of #1 albums and songs, but it just wasn't a fulfilling path still. You know, I realized that I had to like live my life and like do it a little bit different. You know what I mean? If I wanted to survive.
Yeah. So when you're like the song "I Don't Fuck with You," while you were making it, did you know like this is about to be the one, or you realize after like, oh shit, I did not think this was gonna be the hit? Like,
Nah, hell no. I just was having fun. I was in the studio with Mustard and like I was just fucking around. Like I was really trying to make a song like this Too Short song that I was fucked with, and like in my own way though. Like I was like loving this Too Short song at the time, and I heard the beat and I was just like freestyle that shit, and like I almost didn't want to use it. And I remember even when I was about to put my album Dark Sky Paradise out, you know, my A&R No ID, and I remember Jay-Z and Beyonce too. I went to their house and was playing them the songs, and Beyonce was like, "It's a little disrespectful. Maybe you should put Nicki Minaj on it, like so a female, like for a female's voice." And then Jay-Z was like, "Nah, it's like hearted though." He was like, "People gonna get it that it's just you having fun, like." And then I remember I was getting texts from Hove like every day. He sent me a text one time that was like, "Every day you're not putting that song out, you losing." And I
damn.
was like, "Damn." So I almost didn't put on the album because I thought it was just kind of like, I thought it was just a little like dumb. You know what I mean? Like it was a great song, but I thought it was just like,
I know what you're talking about.
I don't fuck with you.
Like,
I said fuck so
just
many
like whatever.
times.
Yeah.
I was like, ain't you ready? And then that bitch dropping. I was like, what the fuck?
That shit went crazy.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite song that you have of yours? Like, this is my favorite song I made.
I got a song with Nipsey Hussle called Deep Reverence. That's like one of my favorites.
Really?
Like
okay.
that song. Yeah.
I was wondering, like, you know, like, is it the popular songs?
Is it because he passed away, or it was your favorite before?
Nah, it was like just one of my favorites. Like I like just what I was saying on that bitch, like the verse. Yeah, I don't know why. That's just when I think of like my favorite song. That's one of them. You know, I really like I like one of my first songs, My Last, with me and Chris Brown. I like all the songs like
hard.
Hey, like, you know, I Know, and I like this song with Chris, I Got Play No Games. Like I like a lot of my songs, you know, subjectively. But,
yeah.
Bounce Back too is one of my favorite songs I ever did. Bounce Back, yeah.
Who's the artist that you've been on track with where you're like, you couldn't believe it, like to first get on track with this person? Like you were like starstruck. Okay.
Eminem, yeah. When we went to the studio in Detroit and we was eating Jess pizza and like just kicking it in the studio, like, and that was probably, I was having that because that was the first album that I had bought rather from Costco, where my mom bought it for me. And it was like right around my birthday type shit. And like it was a Slim Shady LP. So I just remember that. And I still had the busted up CD at my mama's house. And I remember when I went to the studio, I was going to grab it. But then I was like, that's just too like, that's just too glazing type shit. Like,
that's too much.
Second ass type shit. So I was doing that. And then at the end of the session, Eminem pulls out my CD and he like, yo, can you sign this shit? I was like, what?
Damn.
That type shit had me like, that changed my life because it was like, bro, you never could be too cool. Like if you're a fan of somebody, let them know because it's just real, you know? It's rare. And but yeah, definitely Eminem, definitely who else?
Eminem is goated in Detroit, I feel like.
Is it true that Eminem like treats it like a job, like 9 to 5 in the studio? Like he's just from 9 to 5?
He really in that bitch like Goku, bro. He care about rapping like how Goku care about fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that whole everyday type shit. But, him, I mean, Lil Wayne too. I ain't gonna lie, Lil Wayne was like one that when I got in the studio with him, that shit felt surreal. You know, we was in Miami at the Hit Factory, and Yeah, we just went in. I did a song for him first, I think, my homie Still, and then then we did a whole bunch of songs. He hopped on the song Beware with me and Janae. Then we did the song Deep off Dark Sky Paradise. Me and Wayne got like actually a few songs together, but every time it's just cool to be in the studio with him for sure.